the focus is on Epstein. Trump must get past it. Bill O'Reilly noted the Epstein saga could really hurt Trump's credibility. He writes the Justice Department does have information, and Attorney General Pam Bondi as well as Attorney General Merrick Garland should both answer general questions about the investigations. It's their responsibility to do that. President Trump should order it. Bill with us now, host of the No Spin News on BillO'Reilly.com, author of the upcoming book, Confronting Evil, Assessing the Worst of the Worst. Bill's content on YouTube.com/Bill O'Reilly. Bill, it is good to see you. As always, I don't think Donald Trump has any power over Merrick Garland, but who exactly should he order Pam Bondi to answer questions from other than you and me?
The press. I mean, just hold a press conference and invite the former Attorney General Garland. If he doesn't come, put an empty chair there with his picture on it, because Garland had the information that the Trump people have for 4 years. This is more of a mystery than it is a crisis. I disagree with the word crisis. I don't think it's a crisis for the country. It might be a political detriment to the Republican Party and Donald Trump, but it's not a crisis for the country. There's no evidence that there's any cover-up of a pedophile ring or any of that. And without such evidence, it just becomes a curiosity. But it is a dangerous situation because Americans are starting to lose credibility with the Justice Department. And many millions of Americans believe fix is always in for the rich and powerful. It's always in. And they were hoping that President Trump would blast that. And now the president he's not doing anything actively. But certainly he could order Pam Bondi to have a press conference and in general terms tell the folks what the Justice Department knows, what they found out. Now, my reporting says it is not Pam Bondi who's making any decisions at all. It is the Assistant Attorney General Todd Blanche. Do you know that name?
Sure.
Todd Blanche?
Yeah.
So he was Trump's lawyer in the New York City stuff. And Trump really trusts him. And he has far more access to Donald Trump than Ms. Bondi does. And from what I'm being told, I believe it's accurate, Blanche has basically said, look, if we give out too much specific information, we're opening a lot of doors here that our opponents are going to run with and make things up and take out of context, which is absolutely true. But to guard your flank, you have to respect your supporters. And your supporters, most of them want a pretty good idea of what the Justice Department knows. Does that make sense to you?
It does. I don't believe it. Because the reporting a couple of days ago, well, a few things. One, I didn't say it was a crisis for the country. I said it was a political crisis for Donald Trump. But number two, I think what you're saying is a little different than what you said last week, because last week you were saying the reason that this isn't being released is because Trump, who is the president, he has absolute authority here, was worried that by releasing all of the names, the client list that Pam Bondi said she had and now somehow says doesn't exist, that it would be guilt by association, right? If you were associated with Epstein, everyone then was going to have to prove they were not a pedophile. That, to me, though, is very different than what you just said about Todd Blanche, number one. But number two, there's no journalist in the world that should accept that. So you're saying there's Trump friends. You're saying there's Trump friends. I use
the word general, okay, because I assume that people watching last week on this program remember what I said, and I wrote it on BillO'Reilly.com, that you cannot give out specific names because those people would be damned. The media would run wild with it, not put it into context. You can't ruin lives like that. I didn't think I had to restate that.
So then why did Pam Bondi say she was going to release it? Why did Pam, why did Trump run on releasing everything?
I have no idea. That is the mystery. Why did Pam Bondi say, I have a list on my desk and I'm looking it over and we're going to release it? I don't know.
Would you have accepted?
I know someone in the administration doesn't want that to happen.
Right.
Now, the president told me face to face that he has to be careful for the reasons that we just stated.
Would you have accepted that
if you
if
have
any
lunch with Epstein?
Yeah, would you have accepted
you don't
that
want
explanation
your life
from
ruined.
Would you accept that explanation from Obama or from Biden or from Bill Clinton saying, "Hey, no"?
Of course I would.
Oh, come on.
What? You're out of your mind. Of course I'd accept it because it makes perfect sense. You don't destroy people's lives unless they're under federal investigation.
Right, so if we trust, but that's not what the promise was during the campaign. The promise was to release everything. And furthermore, if people trust the president, as I think you say, hold on, let me ask the question.
Donald Trump didn't say he was going to release everything about the Epstein files. You're going to have to back that up. You got something on that? Let me hear the soundbite.
I thought it was given how many. He said it at every single rally. But let me just say, okay, just hear me out.
He did not say that specifically about the Epstein case.
Okay. Let me understand this, though. If Trump is going to release anything, why couldn't Pam Bondi say, if people are going to trust Donald Trump and they should trust the government, to say, look,
I don't know.
Here are the Epstein files. Hold on. Here are the Epstein files. And yes, there's a lot of names. And by the way, we've investigated all of them and we have cleared all of them. None of them have engaged in wrongdoing. Somehow, something about this, and I think what you said in the first part is actually what makes the most sense. This is a mystery. There's all sorts of explanations flying around and justifications, but there aren't any real answers.
Look, Leland, there's a reason why all criminal investigations are redacted when there is no prosecution. Okay? But you can release names of somebody under investigation. That is absolutely legitimate to do. But in this case, as I pointed out 50,000 times, and as you well know, the press is not going to apply any context, nor are the gutter snipes on social media. If your name is in the Epstein file or papers, you're going to be attacked, period. That is what's going to happen. And Trump knows that. So I concur with him 100% that you don't throw names out there unless there's some kind of guilt or investigation attached to them.
Okay.
But it is a mystery, and I think not a smart thing, to create the perception that the Trump administration is hiding something. And that is the perception that is out there now. Tomorrow, if I were president, I would say to Ms. Bondi, you get Merrick Garland, we'll call him up if we can find out where he is, and you two will answer general questions, which you and I can put names on.
And you and I know Garland's not going to show up. But the people who are showing up,
embarrass him.
The people who are showing up are Democrats on this issue. We'll play Hakeem Jeffries. Take a listen.
The American people deserve to know the truth. What, if anything, is the Trump administration and the Department of Justice hiding?
All right, then Van Hollen, appropriations amendment, the provision calls for banning.
Wait, before you get to anybody else, come back to me. I want to address the minority leader in the House. This is how disingenuous that comment was, and this is what infuriates me about these people. Jeffries knew the Biden administration had exactly the same thing the Trump administration has on Epstein. Exactly.
Right.
Because Epstein was convicted during the Biden administration. Not one time did Hakeem Jeffrey call for any exposition of what the Biden Justice Department knew. Not once. So this guy's a top phony, okay? He's a political player. He doesn't care about the truth.
Wait,
he doesn't care about the people.
Hold on, Bill.
This is what
hold on.
he does.
Hold on, Bill. Hold on. You said Epstein was convicted during the Biden administration. Epstein committed suicide during the Trump administration.
Yeah, so?
How is he convicted? How do you convict a guy who's dead?
Epstein was convicted in, I believe, okay, under Merrick Garland's Justice Department. That could be, am I wrong on that? I don't think so. And then he was incarcerated, and then he committed suicide. Okay. The suicide thing is bull. I know the New York coroner's office very, very well. There's no way those people in there put a phony report about a suicide. No way. Impossible. And it's not hard to ascertain whether you committed suicide.
I think this is important. Bill, I think this is important. He was arrested in 2019, and he committed suicide in 2019. He died August 10th of 2019. So the Biden administration was not involved in a conviction or a trial of him. They were in of his madam, of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Okay. And that's a good point of clarification. But he was arrested and indicted under Merrick Garland.
No, under Trump.
Who had all of the information.
Epstein was arrested, indicted, and committed suicide under Trump. In 2019, Trump was president. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general.
Okay, I stand corrected. So 19, that came in the first Trump administration, correct?
Yeah, and Bill Barr was the attorney general. Bill Barr was the guy who ordered the investigation into the suspected suicide.
Right. But then for 4 years, did you hear Hakeem Jeffries say, I want to know all the things that happened?
No, but I heard, well, hold on, but I heard, maybe we're onto something here, because I heard Donald Trump say that. And now Donald Trump, that he's in power, is the guy saying, we don't want to know anything.
You're going to have to find that soundbite, because what Trump was saying was, we want transparency. We want to throw out all of this
Which is exactly what Hakeem Jeffries was saying.
Hiding. But Jeffries didn't say it for 4 years. Right?
Okay. Right, and now Trump is saying, let's move on, and Jeffries is saying we want transparency.
Now Trump is now Hakeem suddenly has an epiphany that he wants to know all about it, when his party controlled the White House and the Justice Department, but he didn't seem to want to know about it then. Doesn't that strike you as a little bit disingenuous?
Yeah, I feel all politicians are disingenuous. That's why I think you and I are good at what we do.
I don't dismiss it that easily.
Okay.
Now, let's get back to Trump.
I want to get to Trump on immigration. But go finish right now on Epstein.
All right, I'll do the immigration too. There's no rush tonight. We'll get it to everything. Donald Trump's hurting himself now. And I just wonder if there's anybody in his administration that is telling him that. Because most of the people don't want to get involved with this at all. So I don't know if he's getting, look, Mr. President, this is starting to hurt you. It's hurting you with your base. The press is looking for stuff to get you on, and it's diverting away from very important stories like Putin, Russia, like China, all right, like immigration. And it's becoming a tabloid wave that we have to stop. I wonder if there's anybody saying that to him. There should be.
Well, that's the point, right, of surrounding yourself with people who are willing to tell you the truth. And I think what you're saying is that unlike Trump 1.0 and Trump 2.0, there's not those people because they're seen as disloyal.
I don't know.
You talk to the guy. I mean, you're the reporter.
All I know is that Pam Boendi's not calling the shots. I can tell you that with certainty.
I want to ask you.
No, you want to go on to immigration?
I do, because I think this is what's interesting about this. Is there's a revolt that you point out inside of MAGA. You and I both see it. Donald Trump tried. It's a split.
It's not a total revolt. Trump
tried to put it down last Tuesday. It didn't work in the cabinet meeting when he dressed down the reporter. Then there was the big eruption on Friday. We played all the sound bites. Then we got on to the amnesty thing. And now all of a sudden there's this discussion of some kind of farm worker parole program, on and on. I get the feeling that in Trump 2.0, Trump is not afraid of the split. He doesn't really care at this point.
It's annoying him. There's no doubt about that. But he doesn't have to run again. But he's a man who likes approval. He likes the MAGA approval. When he showed up at Giant Stadium for the soccer game, he got booed. He didn't like that. And I don't know who was booing, whether it were liberal people or MAGA people that want more information about him. Nobody could possibly know. But Donald Trump wants people to like him. And this one is very, very hard for me to process because it's so easily corrected.
Okay.
Bondi gets out, says, picture with Merrick Garland, who won't show up. This is what we know. We can't tell you names. We don't want these people destroyed. That's fair. People will buy that. And that's it. You put it to bed. Why not?
No, I agree. I agree with you. The amnesty thing is a whole different thing. You and I actually agree on that. We both wrote about it on the same day. Bill, good to see you as always. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.